Thank you so much. Pleasure to be doing this, and I hope you all can see me and hear me well. Quickly addressing that question, when I travel across the globe, just last year about to 30 countries, I get to see the attendees. I get to read their pulse. I get to do some live interaction. But right now, working from home, my kid is my only attendee.
Right. Okay. Well,
Right,
there's
sitting
no
right
better
in
time.
front of me and making all the noise. But otherwise, it's all virtual. It's a big jump, though.
Not a problem. So everyone, you heard Harish. Can we basically give a warm welcome applause to invite him so that he feel the love that he basically usually feel from all his speaking engagement around the world. Okay. So whenever you're ready, Harish, you can go ahead, and I'm gonna basically go offline now, and you can share your screen.
Okay, just give me a quick sec. I just wanted to see if everybody can see me. Yes, everybody can see me. Okay, we're good to go. Let's start. Thank you. Perfect. I'm about to begin. All right. Sweet. Hello, everyone. A warm welcome. Salamat pagi. Welcome. Namaste. Wherever you are. I am Harish Sekar, and I'm usually known as Harry. Last year, I did 2 talk shows in Malaysia alone, and then I told you 30 countries. That's my job. And as much as it looks fancy, the interesting part is meeting administrators or IT security professionals across the globe and solve their problem. Right. That's the most important thing of my job. And guess me and trust me, everything, though the organizations are different, the country landscape are different, the problems are the same. I do not have much time. In fact, they've given me just enough time to tell you all that an organization can be breached in absolutely no time. This is where I'm going to start my talk. So let's get started. So this is the agenda that I have for you all. The first is the importance of security awareness, habit, and culture, and then dealing with attacks. When I say dealing with attacks, a comprehensive mechanism of monitoring, tracking, and catching them. Of what are the attacks that I'm talking about? The known, the unknown and mysterious, the unknown, and the consequence, right? So this poses a whole lot of problems. We're talking about attacks in general. It could be insider, it could be external, it could be a patch, or it could be something that could just leave your organization door just open so an attacker can gain into your organization. And last but not the least, how could ManageEngine save you, right? So the approach that I have taken is going to be problem-based solutions. So we're going to focus on problems. I'm going to demonstrate live attacks, simple live attacks, where you can learn it with. In case if you're not able to see my screen because I've got multiple clients and server combination, I will pass you my resource. Just drop me an email to hary@manageengine.com, and I will be more than happy to give you all the resources that I'm sharing right now. And in fact, I can talk about IT security on a whole day, all day, every day, but I've just got a limited time frame. So let's get started. A couple of pointers, resources. All I want you all to do is just open up a browser and go to blogs.manageengine.com and go ahead and search for PowerShell or 10. This is something latest that we have done. 10 attacks, 10 events, and this will tell you what we have done. This is just a 10 must audit event. This is no product positioning, but we're just focusing only on knowledge. All of the contents that I have posted here are for knowledge sharing. So please feel free to consume them at your convenience. If you PowerShell, if you love domain recon attempts or anything that could break an organization, the small things that you need to pay attention to, these resources will be of great help. Let's get started. Where do we begin? This is where everything boils down, right? The importance of security awareness. Initially, people used to access data from their desktops, then moved on to laptops, and now everything is moved on to mobile, which opens up 3 different platforms. The data needs to be available, and at the same time, as an administrator or anybody dealing with the security aspect of an organization, you need to pay attention to the data security part as well. When you open up to different platforms, there are a lot of attackers just waiting to pin you down because they've opened up into 3 different platforms. 2, ransomware attacks, which were the thing of the past, is now happening right now. 4,000 ransomware attacks happening every day. And guess what? Every malware lurks in out of every 131 emails. And now, especially with everybody working from home and the coronavirus taking toll on almost the world, they are attacking and targeting organizations based on COVID-19 themed phishing attacks. What am I talking about? Why is this important? This is where everything starts on an email, right? You might wonder, why are you showing me your mail client? Because this is a simple email which has got the most number of clicks across the world last year, and this year is no different. This year on the COVID-19 theme, chances of you getting the virus. So what do people do? People just love clicking. They just love clicking. They don't see who sent it, from where it is, what documents they have. So in this case, there is an attachment. So right here, I am going to go in and open up the document, which opens up a whole new world. Well, I just clicked a file thinking if I was attacked by coronavirus, but it started wiping out all of my data. But let's get into the actual practice of where I am getting in, right? This is where a combinational attack starts processing. So we started talking about the known attacks: ransomware attack, simple brute force attack. Here's a quick diagram or a picture. I am the perpetrator dressed in black. The remaining, all of y'all, of course, sitting at your comfort at your home space, you all would be donning good clothes. So you all play the local admin, delegated admin, domain admins. For the person who has zero access, thanks for clicking. For person with just enough access, thank you. I have now got access to all of the resources that person who just clicked on that document with no idea what the document is all about has given me the doors to your kingdom, right? So this is where ransomware attacks start. So start focusing on the problems. I will give you the solution at the last, but this is what is happening. Where would you start? With COVID-19 ransomware attacks taking a toll, you just can't survive by just making sure that, oh, okay, there were just file extension changes. It does not happen that way. Ransomware attack happens on recreating a file, locking it, copying few information, permission changes, wiping out data. You need to know where it is happening in the first place. So this is where things get critical. The ultimate solution for ransomware attack is backups, but backups are a costly process. They involve a lot of downtime. So you need to protect your organization right now, right here. When things are happening, you need to mitigate them. A system or a solution should come in between the attacks, and you say, find, catch, stop, and move aside. This is where a system has to be designed right now. I'm not sure how many of you have a real-time solution, but I will be showing you the solution at the last, just to make sure that the problems is being focused first. And at the last, what does ManageEngine have in store for you to solve them, right? So the global cybersecurity on the increase during COVID-19 crisis, and 79% of the business leaders say new business models introduce a lot of vulnerabilities faster than they can be secured. And 16% CISOs say only 16% of employees caught for the mistakes. So the remaining 84% are still walking out of the park doing the damage, right? So this is where everything starts. If you have Active Directory, if you have Azure Active Directory, if you have users, if you have privileged users, if you have data storage, if you have a whole network to look after, well, things are going to be pretty messy for you, right? Because as an IT administrator, I walked the shoes for the past 7 years. And before that, in the stunt in US, about for 4 years, I was an IT administrator. So with that due experience, I know the real heroes right now are IT administrators or security professionals fighting things. Because just rewind 3 months back when organizations were like, you know what? Let's do only work on premise. Get to the office, secure your perimeter, have firewall, have double firewall inside and outside your network. But now with this COVID attack, everybody's moved home. So IT administrators had to quickly switch, and they should be monitoring, because IT administrators have to have eye, but it's not the case on many times because we have a lot of problems to look after. Hybrid Active Directory, the first point. Both look similar because they belong to Microsoft and they love positioning things the same way, but they're completely different. The only three things common are users, groups, authentication and authorization. Oh, wait, there's one more. It's called PowerShell, right? So the reason why I asked you that is I'm going to show you an attack. But before that, the previous presentation, people were talking about the importance of connecting to the domain because people need access to resources, and could be servers or it could be a collaborative work where access is required to the domain. And this is where VPN is of importance, right? I spoke about brute force, right? Let's take a quick example. I am joining into my client, no username, no password, or username bad password. Do you have a system that tracks this? Why should you track this? Because this is the simple brute force, and people no longer use this, but few use it still. A username, bad password, and the accounts get locked out. So people still use scripts to break open your organization. But now let's take one step back. People are at home. They are trying to connect your organization. Many organizations, as on date, are still resonating on your VPN access, which just gives you a username and password, and people get access into your domain controller. That's it. See how simple and breakable your organizations are. You don't have a two-factor authentication. And two is, I would request you all to start thinking of a Radius logon activity where you have a Radius server, which acts as a perimeter server to give access to people into your organization. Why am I recommending Radius? Is you can add rules whom to let which IP addresses to flow in. Attackers need to know more details than just a username and password. Of course, many people have asked me in the past, Harry or Harish, can we go ahead and do remote gateway activity, just like MSTSC? Just go ahead, MSTSC, application, show options. Let's get into settings. Yep. Advanced settings. You could go ahead and do a remote gateway server settings. And what this does is, as I told you, the perimeter server, this is hosted in between the organization and users at home. So this is HTTP encrypted, a lot more secure than just having a username and password. So once you start focusing on VPN, because that is the gateway to an organization, you need to start focusing on brute force attempts. You need to start focusing on lockouts, which user is getting locked out. So all of these small things need to be focused right now, because VPN is one of the most important gateway into your organization right now. Problem 3, we spoke about ransomware, brute force, VPN access, which is like the virtual access right now into an organization. You need to start focusing. And Office 365 attack. But before I show you this, how many of you users have access to PowerShell? Or how many of you users have access to command prompt? So in this case, I am going to log into my domain controller, and I will show you an experiment. This is a live challenge, and I am going to show it to you fair and square. I am Harish, and I'm not a privileged user. I'm just a domain user with 0 access. This is how Microsoft wants me to administer Active Directory. I have a hybrid ecosystem. So anything that isn't on-prem has the repercussions on Office 365. So let me pose a question. How many of you believe Harish right now, in just 4 steps, can break open an organization? Example, I am going to log into my domain joined machine. Fantastic. Open up PowerShell. You don't have to be a PowerShell guru. And as I mentioned earlier, if the screen is slightly smaller than usual, please bear with me. This is the master-slave concept that they VMware. If I increase it, it breaks. So let's get going. Who am I? I am Harish. And the second step, forget, this is like a bonus tip that I gave you. Who am I? Of course, everybody knows who they are, and they should be knowing. So the first thing that I wanted you all to see is GP result, Harish space hyphen R. So /R, sorry, backward /R. So what does this do? This basically tells me what privilege I have on the domain. Step 1. Step 2, give me all of the group privileges that I have. So right here, I will go do all my privileged resources that I have. This is my primary domain controller, step 2, right? So then I have, I can do NL test, this is what I've done. And then I could do my domain admins. So net group domain admins space domain. These are my privileged users. But now, fourth step is where I break open your organization, right? I'm going to do a couple of steps real quick, but I will talk about this the minute I have access. Import module. Fantastic. But this is where Microsoft is extremely smart. It does not allow you to run unnecessary scripts, but Microsoft is always good at heart. It loves people who work hard. So I can even go ahead and I can do a bypass, exec bypass. Fantastic. All rights reserved. So the same command which I did before, I get access now, which is I'm going to do a password spray attack. So I am going to go ahead and do the domain password spray. I'm going to do a password, or I could do a user list or a password list, and I'm going to choose the world's most difficult password, which is password at 123, right? So when I press yes, see what happens. Of course, a password spray attack happens. It starts noticing your domain password policy, your observation lock window, and it starts going ahead and attacking user accounts with their username and password. And I've got two green icons, which is username and a password. So now tell me, if I log in as Belgium or a service account SRV_SA, is that a legitimate log on, or is that a brute force, or is that an attack happening right in front of you? Are you paying attention to your native tools? I am not a PowerShell guru, but this is what is happening. Many people could abuse native tools because this is the way Microsoft has administered their hybrid Active Directory. This could be for your on-premise, this could be for your Azure, this could be for your Office 365. So if anyone does this, are you paying attention? But the key problem with PowerShell is you cannot audit that by default. Certain settings are. So that is where I am going to introduce the ManageEngine style of documenting things. I did a possible ransomware attack, brute force, VPN, and now I have done the PowerShell. So let's work backwards, or let's take it one step at a time. First step is brute force, login failures, Harish, what, from where, why did he do this? Everything is under radar, right? When I click on it, it'll tell me date, time, machine, from where it happened. You can even click on the details. From where is Harish trying to do all of this? Even from applications, OWA, Active Sync, Radius, NPS, OWA, Active Sync. So there's a lot of things that we look into, and we'll tell you why an account got locked out in the first place. I'm talking about even all of the VPNs, even a potential brute force. You can set up alerts. We don't stop with alerts, and alerts can be counter triggered to mitigate those problems as well through scripts. We have opened up the platform for you. So that's step one. Ransomware, I'll get into it just a bit. Then move native tool abuse. Any user who does a native tool abuse, it could be command prompt, it could be PowerShell. So right now, if they do anything, it is under radar. So right now, Harish, April 16th, time is 8:34. The time here is 8:36. Domain password spray has been attempted. From where, what is the outcome? You can get everything in detail, right? So this is where we have taken. So what you could do is please look up why you need to open up PowerShell to all of your users. If they do, please document it. It could be on their endpoints, it could be on critical resources, domain controllers, file servers, member servers, anywhere that PowerShell could potentially be in. I want you all to start focusing what they do. It's just not only PowerShell, it could be even as simple as LDAP auditing, LDAP authentication, the searches that they do, LDAP queries that is made into Active Directory. Remember, on-premise Active Directory, LDAP, and to a certain extent in Azure Active Directory, you could do your possible LDAP searches as well. So this is where I am taking, but hang on, we are talking about VPN, Office 365. On-premise is done. If you have Office 365 and you thought your organization is secure, boom, Office 365 was under attack. 365 was under attack. And guess what? The integrity of Azure Active Directory is being questioned right now. I will point you to the resources when you drop me an email. And remember, this attack was performed with MFA enabled. And Microsoft wants you to purchase E5 license and above, which is $35 a user a month. I'm not sure how many of you have more than 100 users because the cost becomes humongous. And all we wanted to ask is please notify users about a cyber attack, which could just be a brute force or a password spray or any attack. So in which case, what we did is, of course, ManageEngine is a solution company. So we wanted to give you everything from one pane of glass. So if anything is happening in Azure, brute force, password spray, any error attack, you detected under AD Audit Plus through Log 360, right? And now shifting gears, it could be privilege escalation, or it could be lateral movement, DDoS attack, anything on a small group policy changes which could break your organization. It could be DNS, or it could be permission changes on the domain. A solution like Log 360 will help you out. But shifting gears, as I'm pressed for time, is data storage. Data. If people are accessing VPN to access your data, the first thing that you need to do is check out who's got what access to what privilege across your Microsoft ecosystem. Because without cleaning up your hybrid Active Directory, or at least your data storage, which is your Microsoft ecosystem, your Synology, NetApp, EMC, or anywhere you have data, there's no point of looking backwards and checking if an attack has happened. If the permissions are given to everyone, an attack is bound to happen because you've just given them just enough access. Attacks like ransomware, or any attack to stealing information, data classification or data loss prevention, where you need to classify information, people copying and pasting information, copying and pasting it on their Exchange client, copying and pasting it on their thumb drive, doing storage analysis, how much space it's consuming. People love downloading videos and audios on their data storage. And they like abusing the data storage as well, because lately there was an organization which found out there was a keylogger installed on a file server. So, which could be a potential good thing to have, but it's an attack. Why do you need a keylogger in a file server? File server or a data storage are places where people collaborate to get work things done. So in this case, people bring in a lot of their confidential information. They share, they expose within the organization. But a keylogger started documenting all of it, and it was sending it out through the firewall port to sending out data. And they found it out just in time when all of their information was shipped away, right? And this is where the system misuse appears. So 360, the same solution that we were talking about, you could get real-time information on your data, where it is, who's copying, who's pasting it, everything done on your file server, copy, paste, move, delete, rename, permission changes, any granular changes done on data or your files is being classified here. There's a lot you could find out. You could do as much as right-click file, who's copied, who's read failure, read success, ransomware attacks, what is happening to your organization. Everything could be checked. And this is called Data Security Plus, which is a real-time solution, which will potentially tell you what is going wrong in your organization, right? Just a couple of seconds, it should be up. Else, I have a demo version running as well, where you all could get a quick glance of what Log 360 looks like. This is how Log 360 looks. This is just not for your Active Directory, hybrid Active Directory, data storage. This is for your complete network. Anything in your organization, you could get it monitored, audited, complied. When I talk about compliance, you've got off-the-shelf, ready-made compliance specifically to your organizations. It could be GDPR, PCI, HIPAA, SOX, GLBA. If you can even create your own compliance across your entire network. So where am I bringing in the machine learning and artificial intelligence? Well, this is where we are starting. So with the machine learning and artificial intelligence, starting today, when you install Log 360, the tool starts identifying patterns It starts reading users across your organization and what they do regularly, when they wake up, when they visit their machine, what they do, what do they not do, and it starts comparing each standards automatically, and it starts learning user behavior across organization. When I say organization, when they do it anywhere on the organization, and any deviation or anomaly is flagged, we give them a risk score, and all of this was built right from scratch by Zoho Card. We have not outsourced. Algorithm belongs to Zoho, and the user risk score is given, and all of it can be identified under Log 360, which is readily available for a download if you haven't tested and you're looking out for a SIM solution. Or if you have a SIM solution, all of the problems that I spoke about should give you a fair point that these are gateways for attacks to get into your organization. And why do people trust ManageEngine? The top 5 reasons: it's a comprehensive IT management portfolio, it's intuitive, and modularity and integration, and simplifies operations, simplifies usage, protects user investments, automates business processes, and we make IT simple, right? And with that being said, I just wanted to make sure I value time, because time is most important, and I appreciate all of y'all joining. So if any of the things that I mentioned before made sense or intrigued you or challenged you or inspired you, please drop a line to harry@manageengine.com. This is not the complete deck. I had to tailor make it for the time I was allotted, but this deck has a lot of information, so I would be more than happy to share them with you all as well. I'm just an email away, which is HARY@manageengine.com. But I think now would be a good time to take some questions. I hope I valued your time. So let's see if we've got some questions.
We do. Thank you, Harish, for fantastic presentations. Okay, let's just basically answer some of the questions that is here. How are your models trained? Is it trained by learning? That is normal behavior, or is it trained by learning? How does the attack look like?
Fantastic. So the first thing that we do is it is normal. The attack is we train it based on users, and then we go based on attacks. So the first thing, when you go ahead and download the solution, for the first few days, the tool sits idle. It does not do anything. You might be wondering, what is the tool doing? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? Yes, it is reading, it is observing, it is noticing every change is done by a user. And it starts auto-assessing, and it compares and throws anomaly. This is where we have begun. And the second phase that we are doing right now is the risk score that we float. We give it to you in an email, and all of it could be counter-triggered and mitigated right at the crumb level itself, not letting it grow.
Okay. The two question is very similar, so I'm just going to basically merge them at once.
Sure.
It's about what are the key risks that has come up,
should
be audited during working from home, and also, there's one question. Most UEBA platform went crazy when situation like mass work from home due to COVID-19 or crisis happened. So how do you handle a situation like this?
Fantastic. So in this case, this is where I think it's out now. Just drop me an email. This is where we have now launched Log 360 UEBA, where you can now write your own, meaning what needs to be alerted, because now people working from home, what used to be back as 10 could now be 100, right? So you need to get that changing mechanism to let you know which is a threshold, and if it breaks that, give me a notification. So that is available right now. So for the person or anybody who's interested in checking that out, just drop me an email and I will give you the build, or it should be live right now. I just need to quickly check, where you can write your own threshold limit, which was not there in the past, where we wrote our own threshold limit. And the reason why we kept it this way is, of course, you all would be knowing an attack which took place in 2014 for one of the most biggest hotel industry, one of the biggest hotel organizations, which is called the Marriott. They were breached in 2014, and they got to know it in 2018. For 4 years, they didn't know
breach again, I believe. I thought they gave him breach again.
Oh, you just stole the words from my mouth then, right? So in that case, the answer why I'm telling you this is there was traces for Mimikatz, rat malware, And this is where you need UEBA, which potentially tells you if there was anything installed, someone misusing a resource or a device, downloading keylogger, because your Windows Defender, which was supposed to classify all of it, has just given gateway to your organization. So this is where a SIM solution is most important. And I'm just taking one question before you ask me another. Shouldn't you be wearing a hoodie for this? Yes, I love wearing hoodie, but I train a bit on security as well, but I love showing my face.
Right. I know Jeff Noble just being cheeky here. Jeff, your session is next. So beware, okay? So there's will be a lot of attack coming your way. All right, last question. Harry was asking, Peter was asking Harry, will the Log 360 a challenger for Splunk?
Yes, I talk only good things about my competitors. That's been my success all these years. Of course, everybody does something perfect to be in the race. Log 360, in its own way, is a leader because we've appeared in Gartner for the 4th year in a row, and every year we are improving in our stance. And to answer it in a nutshell, if we are a challenger, yes, in our own space. Example, our competitor Splunk, who's extremely good at their work, they're not cost effective. They are costly to the organization. And to implement Splunk, you need to have a resource come in and implement, and it takes a lot of time. Again, these are good things about them because you need to get the system up and running. But the good thing on Log 360 side is you can download it all by yourself. You don't have to give us a call. Everything is intuitive and work gets done seamlessly. Most of it is real time, but we log up to close to 600 to 700 log sources. So we are a competitor in our very own space, and we are extremely proud to be a part of the Log 360 team from ManageEngine, a part of Zoho.
Thank you so much. Harish Sekar here. Thank you for your presentation and also live. Again, I do hope that you guys be able to catch Harish when he comes to KL soon. We're gonna take 10-minute break now, and we're gonna basically go to our fourth speaker, which is Jeff Noble. Apparently, Harish is going to have a lot of questions for you. And again, thank you so much. Can we basically give a welcome, thank you applause to Harish for that little thing. Thank you. Again, log on to session 4 in 10 minutes later. We're starting at 11:30. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Harish.
Cheers. Thank you. Have a good day.